You must wait until the time window.
You'll notice there's a little guy back there in the control booth.
Okay.
He doesn't move very much. I didn't work him much animation for him.
What?
I'm just messing with you. 11:23 to 11:24. I get it, okay?
So with all these shots where I did like, let's say I did an over-the-shoulder shot of Buchanan where I wanted a shot of the cadet but over the back of Buchanan's shoulder, I went through and marked out every kind of piece of dialogue that was going to be shot from that angle, and I filmed all those at the same time so I could minimize the amount of setups I had to do. The last thing I wanted to do was do the thing in sequence and have to be setting up the same over-the-shoulder angle time and time again. I've got a tiny little LED flashlight that was super bright and kind of bluish bright that I hung above the inside of that red column that shines down on him that was super bright like that. I thought that was a really cool look to do that. You see that the cadet's talking into his radio headset, so he doesn't have an echo on his voice, but when Buchanan talks into that microphone, his voice is broadcast throughout the whole facility, so it kind of echoes in this big, large room. That door closing was fun to animate, and I had those are actually K-Nex bricks on that time machine there, and I had to file off some studs so they could fit underneath there as the thing kind of rotates in and goes under. That thing there is made with a lot of Lego Technics gears and whatnot. Actually, I would just turn one of those knobs a certain amount, and the rest of it's all connected by gears, and that actually spun the vertical piece as well. You see when the controller there pushes that button, I switched from a regular stud to a stud that I'd shaved off the top stud. And for the shot where the glow comes behind the time machine, I actually used a different column that I'd made that looked identical, but was open in the back, that I could shine a bright light in, and I could move that light brighter and brighter and brighter, so that's why you get a glow coming from behind it and through the bricks. So that's about it for my part of the, well, a little bit more here. One thing I used on this film that I'd never really used before that was of great help was I would put little index cards right outside the camera angle to the side of the characters, reflecting the overhead light that I had, and the overhead lights, reflecting those diffuse reflections of the light against the characters to brighten those up. Otherwise, there was just too much lighting from overhead, and their faces were still a little bit dark. So here we are in the 33rd century part, and you'll see this is the part that PwC animated. I went in and edited these shots together, and maybe did a little bit with the timing of some of the frame sequences. I think I slowed the walk down a little bit. I like the twisty little warp core there. It's looks like something weird with matter and energy. Who knows what that's all about, but I thought that was kind of a neat look. A nice kind of stumble there as he comes in from a different time, and of course broke his chronometer. This was my first co-production. I worked with PwC from he's an American, but he lives in the Netherlands, and so he would film this. He filmed all his shots with a digital camera, and then he emailed just the frames to me, and then I would go through and crop them and kind of maybe zoom in how what I wanted to, and kind of adjust the timing a little bit. Violet did a great job with the animation on this. This was the biggest film me or him had ever done before. One thing I did was his walk was more set for 15 frames per second, and I felt like it was a little fast. So I slowed his walk cycle down. Those frames are actually at like 12.5 frames per second, I think. Which I think it looks okay. It's a nice kind of relaxed gait. I thought he did a great job with the reflective, shiny pretzel bag and little pretzel piece he pulls out there that he eats. Then I then added the sounds to all these scenes. That's me doing the accent there on that guy, and I recorded myself crunching up some pretzels to get the sound effect of him chewing his pretzels, knocking a can against a desk to get that sound.
Oh no!
Get another little blink for Buchanan there. So coming up, well, we'll see an exterior shot of the ship. PwC took a still of that, and then we went through and we deleted out the black background of that he'd set up behind the ship that he built. There we go. And then I put in some very slow moving stars behind. He also filmed a still shot of 2x2 brick, that gray brick, and then we, of course, edited out the edges of that and put that in using some chroma keying or something, and had it rotating and flying through and hitting that. Just it's all from the side and very flat and two-dimensional. That's about all I know how to do with the software that I have in terms of things moving without getting into real crazy CGI stuff, which I'm clueless about. I put lights or spotlights or bright LED light behind those transparent bricks there to get the flash of that explosion that's brightening up the room there. It's funny, that bookshelf was only 1 stud wide, but he pulled a 2 stud wide paper from it. Now, this is a live shot here. I've got that arm is attached to just a little white stick with some sticky tack, and I'm moving that down, and I'm kind of moving this is all filmed live. And then after the fact, I went through all those frames and added in the mark that imagine that fake marker there marked as he marked out Cadet Spachimin, since he was now deceased. Of course, you'll notice that the white tile there's actually just squiggles on tape again. It's just only the close-up shot overhead. That was just a white tile, and he was moving the marker across a white tile. And then in post-production, then I added in all that text just digitally. I try to do as much in camera as possible to save myself doing tons of special effects shots, because I'm not real great at it. I don't have great software for it. Putting the picture of Rose, the secretary, on that little screen right there was, that's pretty high-tech for a guy like me. Pretty challenging, but I think it looked okay. And then got the clock ticking there in the background. It's a time travel film. Time's important, so I thought I'd have an old-fashioned clock in there that the time researcher likes. And the music here is by Alpha Wave Movement. There you'll notice that the story is inspired by the book that I read, The End of Eternity, from way back in 1955. I came across Alpha Wave Movement's music on YouTube, and really liked this song a lot. Felt that would be a neat fit for the movie, and he was kind enough to let us use this song, both in the opening and the end here. I wish I could use more of his music throughout the movie, but I guess we kind of ran out of time. We really just didn't have time to go back and put music into the film, so we just had to rely on the dialogue and sound effects. But I do really appreciate Alpha Wave Movements letting me use this song. It's off an album called The Distant Signal, and it's available on cdbaby.com, I believe. So the United States crew, that's me, and some of my kids helped me with building some of the sets. And my wife and kids were very patient. For the 2.5 months we worked on this, I spent a lot of time in the basement by myself, and maybe wasn't a very good father for a while through there. And then here's PwC's, his credits and thanks to his family as well. There's some information again about this song that you're hearing. There's a list of sound effects that the ones that I didn't make myself, in my little makeshift recording studio in my basement. I borrowed off of freesound.org. And those are the credits for those. And then the mostly free software that I used, you'll see there's the list of what you just saw was the list of the creators of those pieces of software and the name of the software. I really appreciate those guys who've made some really neat software and just giving it away on the internet to guys like amateur filmmakers like myself. Of course, this film was made for BricksInMotion.com's Star contest, Space, Time, and Reality, so a time travel movie seemed a good fit for that. So I hope you enjoyed this Animator's commentary, and thanks for listening.